Hi, we are your local Rosenberg Housing Authority staff, and we are here to share information with you regarding the new initiative by HUD called Moving to Work. You might be asking what Moving to Work, or MTW, means, or what does it mean to you? The Moving to Work program is a HUD initiative with 3 goals, one of which is to use federal funds more efficiently, to help families get to a place where government assistance is not needed, and to allow more choice in the units families can rent from. So with these goals in mind, these are the changes that will occur beginning in the year 2022. We will change the way your rent is calculated. We will eliminate the use of assets in your rent calculation. We will increase the percentage of monthly income that goes to rent. We will change the Reexam Schedule, eliminate monthly utility reimbursement checks, increase the minimum rent that a tenant pays over a 2-year period. We will limit interim decreases, change how you request moves, and change some inspections to 3 years. The Reexam Schedule will be changing starting in the year 2022. So what that means is not everyone will be receiving a Reexam application this year. Your re-exams will be based upon whether you are considered a work-able or non-work-able family, and it also depends upon where your last name falls in the alphabet. A work-able family is a family where the head or the co-head are over the age of 18 and they are not elderly or disabled. A non-work-able family is a family where the head or the co-head are over the age of 18 and they are elderly or disabled. A full-time student, depending upon their work status, could fall into a work-able or non-work-able family. You will have a re-exam every year if you have no earned income, if you are currently on a minimum rent hardship, or you have 0 income completely. You will have a re-exam every 2 years if you are a work-able or non-work-able family, and there is a family member that is over the age of 18 and they are working and that income is being used to calculate your rent. You will be recertified in 2022 if your last name falls between the letters of A and M in the alphabet. If your last name falls between the letters of N to Z, you will be recertified in 2023. A 3-year re-exam will be for those families who are not work-able and 90% of their income is based upon fixed income and no one over the age of 18 is working. So if your last name falls between the letters of A to G, you will be seen in 2022. If the last name falls between the letters of H to Q, you will be recertified in 2023. And if your last name falls between the letters of R to Z, you will be seen in 2024. The Housing Authority will change the way your rent is calculated. We will still request you to provide all sources of income coming into the household. We will then take the sum of those sources, divide them by 12 months in the year, and then multiply that by 27.5% to get the new tenant portion. We will no longer ask for child care expenses or for asset income, such as bank statements for checking and savings accounts, life insurance, retirement, or home ownership. This simplified method may result in some families paying more toward rent. A hardship will automatically be applied if your portion of rent has changed and resulted in an increase of more than $50. You will be notified either by mail or assistance check if you qualify for the hardship and what your new rent portion will be. At each 1-year anniversary, your portion will continue to be increased by $50 until you meet or exceed the new tenant calculation. This is a one-time hardship. Let me give you an example. If your family consists of a mother and 2 children, and the total amount of income coming into your household is $18,800, we would divide that number by 12 months, giving us $1,567 per month. We will then take that number and multiply it by 27.5%, and your tenant portion would be $431.
An interim is a change to your household in between your current scheduled reexamination. Process changes can result in a change to your reexamination schedule. Instead of being seen once every year, it could change to once every 2 years, once every 3 years, or any combination going back and forth. Changes in your family composition are things that always must be reported to our agency. This could be asking to remove somebody from your household or to add somebody to your household. The other type of change that you may report to our agency is a change in income. This could include an increase to your household income or a decrease to your household income. With our new moving to work policies, increases will only need to be reported for families that are currently on our minimum rent hardship exemption. Interim decreases will be limited. Please note, we will not process an interim decrease to your income within the first 6 months of being on the program. This applies both to people coming off of our waiting list as a new admission and those that are porting into our agency from another public housing agency. Only one interim decrease will be processed every 12 months as long as the decrease in your household income is more than 10% annually. We do understand that these new policies with move to work may cause some families to be under a hardship. Due to this hardship, there are potential exceptions to our interim decrease rules. We may allow for a hardship to be processed under the following circumstances. If there is a change in family composition where somebody leaves the household and takes income with them, if there is lost income to the household that is irreplaceable and to no fault of your own. This may include a decrease or an ending of child support payments, changes in Social Security payments, or unemployment. Lost income due to a family member recently becoming disabled. And lastly, lost income due to no fault of your own, such as being laid off from your employer or your employer cutting your hours. Please note that a hardship request form must be submitted along with the regular interim request information to be processed. If the hardship is approved, we will process a change and your re-exam schedule may change accordingly. If the hardship is denied, we will not process a change and your tenant rent portion due to the landlord will remain the same. If your hardship request is denied and we are not able to process the change, you will always have the right to request an informal hearing to appeal that decision.
The moving process will change if you are not recertifying this calendar year. You must request a move. You can find the mutual rescission form in RHA's office or on the RHA website. If you are requesting to move before your lease expires, you need to complete the mutual rescission form and discuss any fees associated with moving before your lease is up with your landlord. You will be responsible for the fees. You and the landlord will need to discuss the move-out date, which needs to be at least 90 days out. For example, to move January 1st, the mutual rescission is due no later than September 30th. In either case, this is a decision that must be made between you and your landlord, and the forms require yours and the landlord's signature. The landlord will want to keep a copy of the form, but the form must be returned to RHA to process your move request. If you are approved to move, you will receive a confirmation letter and move documents. You will be contacted regarding the move documents. For example, January 1st approved mover will receive move documents around the middle of October. If everything is received by the correct due dates, a voucher will be issued on the last Tuesday of the month. For example, January 1st approved mover will receive their voucher the last Tuesday of October. A checklist will come with your move documents. Read it. You will not receive reminders of due dates and when to pick up your voucher.
Initial rent burden is increasing to 45% of your monthly income. This only applies when you are moving into a new unit and the unit's rent is more than what your voucher is worth. Please keep in mind that if you increase your rent budget, you will have to decrease other areas of spending. This might mean eating out less. Right now, the RHA inspects your unit 1 year after you move in, and then again 2 years later. If you pass on the first visit of the 2-year inspection, the RHA will not inspect your unit for another 3 years. If you do not pass on that first visit, you will remain on the 2-year inspection schedule. This can change at any inspection in the future. You must continue to pass on the first visit to reap the benefits of the every 3-year inspection schedule.
Minimum rent is the lowest amount of rent a family can pay. This only affects the families that have zero income. Currently, the minimum is $50. However, starting in January of 2022, the minimum rent will increase to $75. And the following year, the minimum rent will increase to $100. If your family is unable to pay the new amount, you may request a hardship exception. Here are some situations that can be taken into consideration. Change in the family circumstances, death of an income earner, decrease of income not fault of the family, increase in medical costs, child care costs, transportation and education costs. If your hardship is denied, you have the right to request an informal hearing with the RHA regarding denial. A reminder notice will be mailed to all Section 8 tenants 30 days in advance, making you aware if you are affected by this change. Utility reimbursement checks. This is a monthly payment from the Housing Authority for those Section 8 families that have little to no income. Utility reimbursement checks will end February of 2022. No hardships will be given. No exception. The goal of this is for you and your family to become more self-sufficient, taking small steps towards being able to pay your own rent or even a home ownership one day. Rosenberg Housing Authority Section 8 program wants the families to be prosperous and own property. With your drive and dedication, you can do it. Makeup in here, please. Thank you, sir.
All these changes were approved by a board of local housing participants called the Resident Advisory Board. If you would like to be a part of this process in the future, please email your name and phone number to the RHA at rosenbergha.org. You will be contacted when we have another meeting scheduled, so please let your voice be heard. We look forward to these new and exciting changes and hope that you will help us build a better housing program in